What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. My name is Trey. I am a motorsports enthusiast of all sorts, and today I am driving a, I want to say NB Miata. I'm not sure. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think NB is wrong though. It's a third generation Miata. Today I am driving a third generation Miata for the first time. So if you like this video, please be sure to hit the like button at the end of the video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about Miatas, honestly. If you've ever driven one or know somebody that has one, or are you interested in buying one, and if this video helped you buy one. Because Miatas are fun. Miatas are light, Miatas are rear-wheel drive, Miatas are front engine, Miatas are 4 cylinders, Miatas are gas savers, Miatas are small, Miatas are easy to drive, Miatas are easy to work on, Miatas are easy to park, Miatas are awesome all-around little cars. Honestly, if you don't have a family, it's probably the car for you. So, with that being said, let's get into the video. I don't know where I'm at. Oh, I know where I'm at. Okay. First reaction of a Mazda Miata. This is my first impression, honestly. I have not driven this car. Unfortunately, I have motorcycle wheels and tires in the passenger seat, so I cannot drive it to the extent that I want without them falling over on me, but I can still drive it pretty decent. Off the rip, I am very impressed with the handling of this thing. It is full-fledged go-kart, like street legal go-kart. It is pretty damn impressive. This is my mom's. She went from a slingshot that had a 5-speed. She didn't want the 5-speed anymore, and she didn't want the slingshot anymore, so she sold it and ended up buying this. Now this car does have paddle shifters and like a slap shift. It does all right. It's not great. I mean, it's better than anything you'll get in any GM car. The shifting in it is a little bit snappier. I honestly don't mind that it's an automatic. I would much rather have a manual if I was ever to own one of these. We gotta save the manuals. I mean, I feel like America is the only country that everybody runs automatics. Like, they're converting cars to automatic here. I feel like it's a miserable place to be, a miserable time to be growing up in America. Like over in Europe, everything was manual, and almost everything was diesel, and everybody was so much more nicer. Like at least in Italy. But there was like these little sports cars running around everywhere, and that's cool. Anyways, my mom, she sold her slingshot, which it was a fun car, but the problem with slingshots are being 3 wheels, you couldn't dodge potholes. The car had no roof. Like, you can get a custom roof for them, an enclosure, but basically if you were to be stuck out in the weather in them, you're basically screwed. Being stuck in the rain in a convertible car or a car with no roof is a lot worse than being stuck in the rain on a motorcycle. I'm just telling you from my personal experience. So Miata is known for its handling, more so than it's known for. This definitely delivers. This car literally handles like a little go-kart. After racing go-karts for like a month straight or 6 weeks straight. I don't even remember how long it was. It was a long time though. I think it was 6 weeks. After racing them and then getting into this, I could not believe how similar they both were. What a fun little car though. I wouldn't mind having something like this to like just run errands around town or cruise around on the weekends. It's a cool car. The steering feels like it does not have power steering. It's pretty stiff. It's got a lot of feedback. The harder you push it, the more feedback you get. I don't care for the paddle shifters. Like, I feel like one side should be up and the other side should be down. Whereas like this has the back paddles are up and the top paddles are down. I find that kind of strange. Also, this car has no power after 80 mile an hour. Like, I mean, it's basically, the speedo reads all the way up to 140, but you can hold your foot on the floor wide open, and around 80 is when it really just has nothing. So if you are planning on doing like a lot of highway driving or whatever, I would not consider this car whatsoever. But it's fantastic for back roads, especially like the back roads around here in Kentucky or West Virginia or Tennessee. It's a fantastic car for these kinds of roads. I think this car, I would pick this car over probably any other like beginner level autocross or even track car. I feel like on the track you'd find yourself just flat out through every corner. Like, yeah, you might be working on hitting your apexes and stuff, but you might only have like 2 braking zones depending on your track. Like, basically you don't have to touch your brakes hardly ever. The car itself will handle, like, it would handle above your comfort zone starting out. I feel like you could get real comfortable pushing this thing to its limits pretty quick, I feel like. So, I've driven a first generation, which I believe is an ND or NB. I've driven a 4th generation, and this is my first time driving 3rd generation. That's only one more generation that I need to knock out. And I don't think I know anybody that owns one. So far, my favorite generation of Miata that I have driven has been the 1st generation. Mainly because it had a quick shifter, had lowering springs. It was slightly modified exhaust system. This is bone stock, automatic. The 4th generation was bone stock. It was actually a rental car. It was automatic too. Paddle shifters. They had them fixed though. The paddle shifters were done the right way, whereas the paddle shifters in here are not done the right way. As far as cabin room goes, they feel about the same. The 1st generation felt a little bit tighter, I would say. It feels like there's a little bit more leg room in this one. Also, the seats in this one are a lot more comfy. The ride's a little bit comfier. Both this generation and the latest generation are pretty comfy, and they don't sacrifice the handling either. So, windows up, top down, a little bit of a draft, nothing too crazy. That was 60 mile an hour. The wind flow in here isn't bad at all, honestly. I don't know if you guys can tell on the mic or not, but I have no complaints whatsoever about the wind flow in this car. AC's on, of course. It's not that hot of a day, but the sun is baking, so I'd say it'd be pretty uncomfortable anything above 85, 88 degrees. I'd probably have to top up with the AC on. This thing's just a little back road monster, little back road destroyer. The fucking turning of this car is unbelievable. The fact that they basically mimicked a go-kart is phenomenal. I love it. Although the paddle shifters are wrong, they are pretty responsive. What a lovely car to drive fast. I do believe she is selling this thing, sadly enough. Because this truly is a wonderful little car. So on the channel we have a KTM 390 Duke, and it reminds me a lot of this car because you really have to use the momentum that you gain. They are momentum vehicles for sure. The KTM I feel like is a lot quicker than this, but it does die out around 80 just like this thing does. Where they really shine at is in the corners. They're light, nimble. Both of them are very easy to drive fast in the tight corner section, or I like to call them rhythm sections, because ideally when you get into the corners you want like a good rhythm. You want smooth and steady is key. This car is very smooth, honestly. My old Miata would beat the shit out of you. It had lowering springs on it, but I mean it would bottom out and bounce like crazy on these American potholes. Also, another thing that I kind of like about this car is it doesn't sound like you're going fast. I kind of like that because you are telling on yourself when you are going fast. Like, people can hear you going fast. And with this car being kind of quiet, just a nice little exhaust note, it doesn't give you away to anybody. I mean, it is pretty damn quiet. I kind of feel like this one is a little bit peppier than the newer version that I drove too. But it has been a while since I've driven the newer version of this. I feel like this car feels wider than the newer version too. It kind of gives that wider feeling. Your arms are you can stretch your arms out a little bit better. Here in Kentucky, instead of just fixing the roads, they just patch them for the next 10 years until they really fall apart. Then they'll come through and fix them. It's a great system they have. That's kind of why I fell in love with motorcycles over cars, is because motorcycles always seemed a little bit smoother on these rough country roads versus having four wheels. But I've been really impressed with this car. All four wheels are independent. Miata was the first car to have fully independent suspension all the way around. All four corners, they all have double wishbone A-arm. It was the first car to have it, and that is what set them up to be some of the best handling cars money can buy. I will say there is no greater feeling than absolutely walking another sports car and a car with half the power, at least on a back road. You know, like when I leave leader bikes on the 390, I get the biggest kick out of it, like a little child. That's it for this video. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, comment below, tell me what you think about the Miata.